Well, I'm going to give a little demo of my HQ-27. You see that cap protector? You see where the loading coil is? It's above it. Above it about 4 inches. And that's what you want on a vehicle like this, a triaxle dump truck. Get your load above any obstacle on the vehicle. Now, I talk a lot of free band on my base radio, and I talk free band in here. So this is an old 138 XLR. It's expanded, but only the high frequencies. So channel 40 is actually channel 80 when I flip my switch. So I wanted to demonstrate with, I'm running 18 feet of RG8 or RG58 and this eBay cable. It's tram, flexible center core, copper, and braided shield, copper. Now we got a 3-foot RG58 jumper. So right now we're going to go to channel 20. I had to trim about 5/8 of an inch off the top stinger. So let's do our forward. See if I can do this one-handed here. That's good enough from where I'm from. So alright, now I'll go back down to channel 1. That's the lowest this radio goes. This one only has a higher channel. So let's see where we're at on 1. Check, make sure she's calibrated. Close enough from where I'm from. Not getting into particulars here. Alright, so we'll go up to 40. I talk 38 lower sideband also, so let's see where we're at there. Still close enough from where I'm from. So, see, she's getting a little higher there. Alright, now we're going to go. Now we're on channel 80. Let's see how much broadbandedness this antenna is. You know what? I can live with that. Well, let's go and take her up a little bit. You know what? That's still good. So I can live with that. So anywhere this radio goes, this antenna is acceptable. I won't want to run an amplifier up here because you don't need to. Let's see here. This would be the 555 would be right there. If you want to look at my scribbled map there and find what channel I'm on. I believe that's the 555. So let's see where we're at. Now that's way too far off from where I'm from. So, well, that's pretty dang close. Not even going to really worry about it. You know what? That's perfectly acceptable to me. I can trim the antenna a little bit more, but I'm not really worried about it. And a couple of the base units I talked to, that's 475, so channel 47. On the upper side, we use upper sideband because there's a problem in this truck with the throttle causing pretty bad interference on lower side. So, you know what? I can't really complain. I can't really complain about this this antenna at all. Now, if I was using this is a Wilson Silverload. These caps are a pain in the butt because you gotta have them on there to get the tune right, and then you're constantly taking it on and off to try to trim it or adjust there's a stinger on the top of that that's adjustable. Now This is the second Hustler HQ-27 I had. The only issue I had with the old one, somehow it come out of this ferrule, or it got broke when I wasn't around. So it must have happened. The mechanics must have did something or dropped something from up high and hit it. I've hit multiple tree limbs with this antenna. And another thing is, being that I'm just using this, I generally use Wilson gumdrop mounts where they're all insulator. This is a fire stick, SO239, and your ferrule, you know, your antenna stud. Just a basic setup. And with this antenna, you have a lot less wind load than, say, that Silver Load or a Wilson 2000. A Wilson 2000 really ain't going to help me because the loading coil would either be 5 inches above the mount or 10 inches above the mount, and then once you start getting it up higher, you get a lot more wind load tweaking your little nylon shoulder washer. And from the door opening and closing, Northwest Pennsylvania, we have salt on the roads. You know, in the wintertime, calcium chloride gets in there, fucking everything up. So, the least amount of wind load in a good performing antenna for a basic radio setup. And as you've seen, I'm running an old 138 XLR, so that's an 858 boarded radio, or PLL. And it's expanded. I have a lot more radios than this, and they're all sideband. I don't deal with just AM. The only reason why I deal with the AM side is to talk to other drivers or scale houses, or, you know, obviously you all know about that. But I've heard people saying, "Oh, CB's dead. Nobody uses it anymore." Yeah. You have the foreign drivers that don't use the CB. You have these new millennial drivers that refuse to even use one, and you see all these accidents. You know, I've been driving truck, triaxle, tractor trailer, you know, since 2003, and I'm 37 now. And I've been into radio since I've been 10 years old. I help other drivers out, you know, getting their stuff right. And the more you know, a little bit of information you can glean. And people always ask on the Facebook groups for CB radios, you know, what's the best antenna? You know, it all depends on your application. Like me, I'm getting into the tree limbs, I'm on back roads, little, you know, camp driveways, making local deliveries, and, you know, you get rain in these back roads and the trees hang lower than normal, and then you start whacking your antenna. Yeah, well, in my personal experience and driving for almost 20 years, this antenna by far, for the price, is it's, you can't really beat it. I mean, really you can't. It's flexible. I do not like fiberglass antennas for the simple fact of, you start whacking tree limbs, you kind of see that right there. You know, this is just this is a load, a matching coil. If you're having real bad problems with your SWR, I never use it. It's just, but there's 108 inches of wire wrapped on a fiberglass antenna. Most of it's right here in this fine wrap. That's your load. Now, what happens is you whack a tree limb, you get ice on it, and you're going down the road,
or you slam your door and this thing's just woggling around, it breaks that wire, and there's just a simple solder connection that solders all this wire to this ferrule. And once you start whacking this antenna and opening and closing the door, what happens to the stiff copper wire when you work it back and forth many times? It breaks. So this is why I get in a newer truck or a different truck that I'm going to be driving. I go to one of these. Plain and simple, easier too. Like I said, it gets the load coil above any obstacles. Yeah, like I said, I trimmed about 5/8 of an inch off that top sticker. So, to get it to tune where it's at right now, it's, 90% of the time you're going to have to do that. Some people just get lucky and throw them on there and they work just fine and they got a good SWR. Me, it never happens that way. So, you tune your antenna to the vehicle. You're not tuning the antenna to the radio. You're matching the hot side, which is the antenna, and the ground side, which is the shield. The antenna is the center core. The shield is the ground. So you have to make sure you got a good ground. Your door's not all fiberglass because, well, then you hit. I've ran into that. I had to trim 4 inches. 4 inches, any antenna I put on there, generally 4 inches off of the stinger to make it match. So hopefully that sheds a little insight on why, when you see me in the Facebook groups suggesting these antennas, and they still make them. They're not made in the USA anymore. They're made in Mexico, but they're still made on this continent. They're not made out of Chinesium, which is a big plus. Like your Wilsons and everything else are Chinese made. So I will never buy another Wilson 2000 again. So there you have it.